All right. So today I'm going to show you how to master the art of multitasking while training your dog. Training doesn't have to be just straight up, taking time out your day and things of such like that. What I like to do with families is provide practical training solutions to make life living with your dog a lot easier. And part of that is providing training solutions where you can multitask at the same time, so it doesn't actually feel like you're training your dog and you're actually getting stuff done. My name is Pamela Brown with Down for Paws Dog Training. As I said, I provide practical dog training solutions to make life living with your dog a lot easier. So I just want to jump right into it. So when we're talking about successfully multitasking and training, you want to make sure that you're setting some realistic goals and understanding that you're not going to be able to tackle complex commands while you're multitasking, but is also good because, sorry, you're not going to be able to tackle complex commands while you're multitasking, but you can practice simple basic obedience commands like sit, stays, and recalls and stuff like that when you're having that busy schedule. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing you can do when it comes down to multitasking and training your dogs, we use something called the treat and train method. And so those are great for moments where you need to move from room to room, but you still want to reinforce your dog's training, especially like if you're cooking dinner and your dog's right there under your foot and things as such. What I talk to my families about when it's training, so multitasking in this scenario when you're cooking dinner or things as such, what I say, if you're working on something like a sit stay or a down stay, and say you're chopping up vegetables or you're boiling water or anything where you're stationary at that counter, you can actually work on sit stays during that time. Keep a bowl of treats nearby, and then every time your dog comes up to the counter and sit, you give them a treat, or you can have them come to you and have them sit just for a quick second. And that way you start to work on those sit stays or sits in general and work on obedience. You can do the same thing with downs when you're cooking and such, chopping up vegetables or you're waiting for water to boil, asking your dog to go into a simple down and releasing them back up. So little moments like that, while you're multitasking, you're actually training your dog at the same time. And that's going to be ideal when you're trying to move about the home. I talk to families about doing these small moments of training as well when you're watching TV during the day, or if it's at night and you're sitting there just relaxing. If your dog's allowed on the couch, just having your dog lie next to you and working on those down stays, reinforcing your dog staying in that down next to you by just giving them treats. I always say, I talk to my families about keeping treats hidden around the house in various places. So when you do have these small moments to multitask and train, you can do it during that time. Same thing with laundry. If you're sitting there folding laundry, you can work on sit stays or down stays. You can even work on leave its, especially if you have a dog that counter surfs and jumps up on a counter. So the treat and train game, like I said, is a good method. Like if you're in the house and you're doing little things here and there, just practicing those sit stays and down stays, or even recalls to another room. The next thing we want to talk about is the work and wait technique, right? So this is perfect for people that works remotely or spend a lot of time at their desk. Again, when I'm talking to families, most people are working from home these days since the pandemic, and in general, you want to think about before even training, just keeping your dog busy at the same time that you're going to be working. So whether that's a Kong, whether that's a licky mat, but the same thing with training. I always talk to the families, if you're working from home, keeping those treats on the desk area right there. When your dog comes up to you, because I know they do, when they sit and they look at you, you can give them a treat for focusing on you. If they come back again, give them another treat. You can even call your dog to the desk, have them sit, give them a treat. If you're working on sit stays, have them sit, wait a few seconds, give them a treat. So you can work on little things like that in those small increments just by sitting at your desk and keeping treats there. It's just something really simple to do. We didn't forget about those who like fitness or like yoga or like to exercise and do those type of healthy routines. We do have something for you. So if you are the type that exercises in the house and say you're doing yoga, it could be anything. I don't care if you're jumping up and down. what you want to do is before, if you're doing like different poses, you do jumping jacks and then you're going to do sit-ups. Before you go into those sit-ups, ask your dog to come and do it like a sit stay or a down stay, and then go into those go into those sit-ups. After the sit-ups, if your dog's not there, call your dog to you and start practicing those sit stays and down stays or whatever it may be that you're focusing on during that time. Your dog understands routine. They understand patterns, and I wouldn't be surprised in doing any of these activities, whether you're at the counter working on sit stays, down stays, having dinner or exercising. Your dog will start to pair these little events with getting treats, and next you know, they'll be coming to you offering you sit stays, down stays, or leaving items. So it's just a really fun way to get your dog trained, and while you're multitasking and doing everything at the same time. So the last one we have is the fun with the fetch, right? This one is ideal if, of course, I love having kids play fetch. If you're outdoors in the backyard, or even if you're walking on trails, you might have seen a video on Instagram recently where I'm practicing this with a dog. It's really good for dogs. I need to get energy out, but also to train a solid recall is just using one of their toys. Again, you can have your dog sit or go into a down before you toss that toy, and then, call them back. So if you're gardening in the backyard, or if you're doing any type of yard work, this game is actually fun for your dog because they will bring stuff back to you, whether they drop it or not. You can add that onto it too. Just have your dog releasing the ball. So there's always these simple ways you can incorporate training into your routine when you're multitasking. And I know that you are busy these days. I'm busy these days. And like I said, when I go out to train, when I'm working with families, that is my primary focus, is one, getting the entire family on board so everyone can be doing the same thing with the dog because they learn by repetition and being consistent, and also making it practical and easy for you so that you're not taking any additional time out your day, so that training, one, is a lifelong thing, but you don't want to take any. So let me backtrack. Training is a lifelong thing. You don't want to take additional 10 or 15 or however minutes out your day to continue doing this training for your entire life. So that is why I try to incorporate these techniques into your daily routine so that you can stay consistent and you're not taking additional time. And we call it like a lifetime reward where, eventually you'll fade out the treats and then you're just rewarding them for, cute little things like, sitting and giving them a pat on the head and such. So that is how you incorporate training into multitasking with your everyday life and routine and things like that. Of course, if you're doing something now that I didn't discuss, I'm always open to learning new things. Just drop them in the comments. I hope you gained some valuable tips to multitask and train with your dogs. Other than that, I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next week with another great topic. Bye.